It is a hypertrophy with an actually trimmed pair of mutton chops this time. Holy shit, I don't look like a total bunch of garbage. Today's subject is a topic that I'd like to discuss as someone who has gone through many different types of training. I've done the super duper slow, super duper controlled, the squeeze for like 20 seconds, and then hold it up. I've done the just horse it like Eric Bugenhagen because he told me to. And I've done everything in between that. And I've heard a lot of advice. Like what I've said. A lot of people would say, you gotta have that mind-muscle connection, bro. You gotta squeeze with like the pink dumbbells behind your back like a tricep. Squeeze! Don't do any exercise where you can't feel a massive pump or a massive burn or whatever the hell. And then there's people who say, just fucking lift it. Just lift it. If you get strong, you get big. Unequivocally, with no prerequisites, no nothing. You just do it. We have the answer, and it's in between, and it's with a new term I'm the founder of. It's not mind-muscle connection. That's important, but what I think is really the most important is muscle tension perception. Why? Because you can connect to your chest by doing any exercise. Really, mind-muscle connection is just... I know my titties are small, I'm sorry, but this is mind-muscle connection, being able to connect to the muscle in that way. That's cool, but you don't necessarily need actual tension on it. I can really connect to my biceps like this, but the thing is, there's no weight on there. Why this is important is because you'll see a lot of these guys, especially when it comes to glutes. Oh, you know what you do to get big glutes, bro? You disadvantage the glutes by your leg stance being completely different to what your glutes want to do. You do a knee flexion. You stay up straight, but then you squeeze your glutes. As if squeezing your glutes is going to just randomly get all that tension from your quads to your glutes. That's bullshit. That being said, being able to connect to your muscles is very valuable because, you do a chest exercise, it doesn't fucking matter if you're technically doing this. Well, it does, obviously it does, but like, you can do this with quite a bit of shoulders. Like I'm doing it with shoulders. I could do it with triceps, right? It kind of looks similar. Now, I will say for most people, you don't necessarily need to worry about this to such a huge extent, especially beginners, because it's mind-muscle connection. You don't have the muscle to connect to. So, of course, when you're doing this, you're not going to be feeling an amazing sensation and incredible burn like Jay Cutler did with his 50-pound fucking titties. Okay, that's just not going to happen, and people don't talk about that. These guys are always on about pumps when they're on steroids because they are pumped, because they're huge as hell. They got more muscle to connect to. Again, to my point though, you can do this, but you could be doing lots of shoulders, you could be hunched over doing more shoulders. You can do this, and you think you're doing good, but you're actually doing like spinal erectors and pushing through your back, a lot of rib cage expansion or compression, as John Warren says. I don't know necessarily all about it. I'm just going to use that term because he uses that term for right. And you're probably not going to actually have your chest be built so amazingly. And so, what the hell do you do? Do you horse the weight, or do you just feel the weight? Actually, I gave my answer away. Or do you feel the muscle? You don't do either. You feel the weight. You feel it actually hurting. You don't have to necessarily feel it on every exercise every single time. Because, for example, squats, I don't think I've ever really... actually, that's a bit of a bad example because I didn't really get much gains in terms of... for barbell back squats, I didn't really feel much in terms of the gain. But, right? But I did it wrong anyway. So don't let anyone tell you that barbell back squats is a bad exercise for the quads. I just didn't personally connect to them, but they're amazing. They're S tier, no doubt. But right, You should be able to feel the muscle, but being pulled on, right? You should be able to have a base ability to connect to the muscle without any tension. However, you can't just do all triceps, all fucking shoulders, and then squeeze the chest. There's all this in the chest exercise. That's bullshit. I see a lot of these people do it with plates, like the ones standing up. Like, whoa, I feel my chest. Which it could work the chest definitely. The thing is, though, that's probably more proportionally this boy. I'm doing this. I'm not freaking doing the Elon emote, right? But yeah. You do this, right? Oh, I feel a squeeze with like the 3-pound dumbbells. But the thing is, you need mechanical tension. Mechanical tension and weights being heavy should be relative. But you do realize, right? You can always psych yourself out in terms of how heavy something is by just really contracting your core and stopping your breathing and then really squeezing. Oh. But if you just breathe like a normal human being, like, and you don't focus so heavily on feeling, say, for example, the squeeze or feeling the tension here, when you damn well know that you're not actually resisting anything, you're just contracting, you're doing an isometric contraction. Because that's a horrible thing when it comes to mind-muscle connection. It's not necessarily the concept, it's the fact that people take it, and then I've done this myself, where it's not actually me feeling the muscle, it's me contracting the muscle midway through, but like not even against anything so heavy to where it's actually pulling me down. It's more just like an isometric contraction at all of the ranges of motion with like the lightest baby weight. Now, I haven't done this that often, by the way, because I've come kind of like an ego lifter by default. Though sometimes with certain exercise, I'm just doing this because it's like very easy to connect to my chest. So what I'm saying is you do have to just keep into account that that's not tension. That is just you. You could do this with no weight. Oh, I feel such a great contraction in my chest. Oh, I feel a big squeeze. That's my muscle connection. I'm connecting to it, but what the hell do you connect it for? You can connect to your Bluetooth, but that doesn't mean you're going to instantly get music. You have to choose the music. So you have to choose the tension, and you have to feel the tension. You have to put the volume up. And not necessarily in terms of exercise or sets or whatever, but like the volume in terms of the tension. You can have the best freaking mind-muscle connection, 500-meter freaking Bluetooth headphones, but if the volume's off, it doesn't fucking matter. You're not gonna hear the music. You can imagine the music, but that doesn't mean that the Bluetooth is giving you that much. You have to connect for a reason. So I'm personally suggesting that we don't ditch mind-muscle connection, because it's very valuable as a tool, because you want to be able to just have the innate ability to contract so that you can put the tension into that. But you have to get the tension. You have to perceive tension. And what does tension feel like? It feels like it's trying to pull you apart. So it's not at every single part of the range of motion for every single exercise, because the spinal cord, barely any tension, but tension. But there needs to be something, alright? Now, you don't want to necessarily do exercises where it's like, or like, it's probably not the best idea. What you want more is like, or like, or like, right? And the best way of actually seeing if you have any tension in that is if you push as hard as humanly possible and that bitch is slowing by the time you get close to failure. That is the money shot. I don't think that's how you use it. That's money, though. That is money. That is money. That is it's just peak. It is peak. So let's not ditch something, but let's also focus on the tension, damn you. So you could tense with your mind. Like, you could do this shit all day, cramp yourself. Oh, I feel the mind-muscle connection. Oh, I feel connection. Oh, but there's nothing there. You can do this. You can shorten your breath. You can tense your core and make yourself fatigued and exhausted. Let me get this. But that's nothing. That's nothing. You need to feel that muscle be a rubber band of just pull this shit up. Pull this shit up, right? Like you're trying to, and then there's like the resistance. It's resistance training. It's training against resistance. So, I hope that clears it up for you lot. And I hope this makes you choose better exercises, better stuff, a better methodology overall. I personally feel it as valuable, and I've seen how it's been valuable because, it's just the best of both worlds with ego lifting, where you lift actual weight, and the mind muscle squeezy for Gigi, we actually feel the muscle. It's in between, which should be just normal training. But yeah.